Beginning with a beautiful opening movie, Tato's Space Raiders starts by telling of the arrival of the aliens and introducing you to the three main characters. Naji is a cop, the lone survivor of his squad, specialist in slow but heavy firepower, and owner of a unique dress sense. Justin is a boy band member whose crew were decimated by the aliens, and Ashley is a camera woman who finds her house trashed and her boyfriend missing. She's an expert in quick, light weaponry and taking showers. But once you get into the actual gameplay, you'll soon find that it's really just Space Invaders with a more personal touch. There are 6 stages to the game, each composed of several screens, and then a boss. Just don't expect it to get any more exciting than shooting, lobbing grenades, and unleashing the occasional special attack. Club Football is actually a series of 15 games, due for simultaneous release from Codemasters. Each game will be individually tailored to one particular club, featuring photorealistic player models, accurately modelled stadia, and the opportunity to play against team rivals in both domestic and Super League championships. Clubs available are going to be a serious issue, and we can tell you that fans of Arsenal, Aston Villa, Chelsea, Leeds, Liverpool, Manchester United and Rangers are all in for a treat. Galarian's Ash is Enterbrain's sequel to a fine PS1 game from years gone by. And now the action takes place 6 years later, with Rion reprising his role as the main character. The story involves the creation of Dorothy, the mother computer, and also sees the return of Lilia, daughter of Dorothy's creator and knowledgeable expert on all matters Galarian. When it comes to the action, Rion has a number of handy moves, the most important of which are his psychic attacks.
Even at this moment, your body is being held in suspended animation in a cryogenic storage chamber.
There are a variety of moves available to him, including the ability to shoot fireballs, launch shockwaves, or to use telekinesis to lift an enemy into the air and smash them into the ground. Despite the weak visuals, Galarian's Ash provides all the ingredients of a decent sequel. So if you liked the original, then you'll probably want to add this to your collection too. Making the most unlikely of platforming heroes, Dr. Muto is an unreliable, sketchy, and incontrovertible geeky mad scientist. After a less than glorious history of scientific experimentation, he was recently issued with the task of tapping the new energy source for his world. Instead, he blew it up. With only his laboratory remaining, Dr. Muto sets out to repair the planet, armed with various unreliable inventions, the most notable of which is a device allowing him to use genetic samples in order to transform himself into all manner of mutant animals. There are 4 significant chunks of planet remaining to be explored, which contain a total of 22 vast levels, filled with dangerous challenges, freakish monstrosities, and opposition from Muto's arch-nemesis, the evil Professor Burnitor. Continuing the popular mech combat series, Armored Core 3 is set 20 years after the Earth government and the corporations battled for supremacy. The majority of mankind are living beneath the surface, sheltered from the ongoing war. But now a new and mysterious entity has entered the scene, snapping up all the available Ravens for intense missions that only their custom-built Armored Core units can handle. As a Raven, you're not so concerned with who or what is hiring you, so long as you have the opportunity to earn more parts and weapons. Still, watch your back. This latest addition to the series brings 50 new solo missions, along with a whole arsenal of new weapons and upgrades. You also get the option to take in backup using the new consort feature, as well as battling it out in the exciting new 4-player mode. It's time to prove what it means to be a Raven.
Armored Core 3.
If you think MGS2 Substance is just a skanky collection of cast-offs and leftovers from Snake's first PS2 appearance, then you've obviously ignored all our previous coverage. It's living proof that those who make video games do actually listen to what the gaming massive demands. What you're getting here, aside from the entire original Metal Gear Solid 2, present and complete as the developer intended, are some 300-odd all-new missions starring Snake and his floppy-haired chum Raiden as they take on a new selection of stealth challenges. And Substance is immediately more playable than Sons of Liberty, with the general idea being more MGS2 style fun without having to labour through another epic storyline, which should appeal to those who found the original tale just a little too time consuming. We're pleasantly surprised by the sheer amount of stuff crammed into this repackaged release. The legendary Gurlagon monster is present, although they've just made a guard really big to save on time. But it's not all as new as you might think. Snake's Tales and the alternative missions both use existing locations from the original game, which is a bit disappointing. But the VR missions are all new. Well, almost, and are definitely the best way to master the ways of stealth before tackling the full original game.
Freeze.
Overall, Substance feels like a massive new experience, rather than just a few extra missions and bonuses, and there's still plenty of fun to be had with a cardboard box. Plus, you can grind your way around Big Shell, Solid Walk styling for extra gaming mileage. It's by no means a small update or a quick cash-in. Any Solid Snake fan will surely find this essential. Fishing may not be the most exciting or dramatic of video game subjects, but it still manages a worthwhile following. At least, we must assume so, otherwise they wouldn't keep making them, would they? In all fairness, Sega Bass Fishing Duel is actually quite entertaining.
It's coming near! Don't let it go!
You begin by cruising around one of the 6 areas of Eagle Lake, looking for a suitable place to settle in for the day. You can choose from a variety of areas, amongst the reeds or logs, near dams or among shallow creek entrances.
It's coming near! Don't let it go!
Then it's down to business. Pick one of the many lures available and you're ready for action. Or at least, ready to sit around patiently for a while. There's a variety of fish around, and you start by casting out your line in a likely direction using the L1 button. You can also influence your casting style using the analog sticks.
It's gone!
Skilled fishermen then attract the fish with subtle movements of the line. Less skilled fishermen read a book or something. Once you get a bite, you use L2 to snag it, and then reel it in using the right analog stick.
Fish!
A meter shows the tension and direction, as well as whether you should reel or loosen the line. And once it's close enough, you switch to an alternative view and have to time a button press to coincide with the little bar reaching the fluctuating center point of a new meter. And there you go, you have a fish. Be proud.
super big.
There are a variety of game modes, including some two-player challenges and contests against the computer. And the training sessions are intuitive, as are the various meters and gauges that help you
Stay
improve
calm
your
and
performance.
touch it carefully. It's a medium.
You may also have noticed that the graphics are nothing special, but this isn't exactly unusual for a fishing game. The water looks decent, which is good, but the common issue for fish travelling through solid objects still persists. On the whole though, Sega Bass Fishing Duel is a decent fishing game for fishing fans, provided you can stand the pace, of course.
Now, the game begins!
If you enjoy waving a racket and darting about in short skirts, chances are you've already purchased Virtua Tennis 2 or Smash Court Pro Tournament for your racket-based entertainment. Anyway, why consider a new challenger when there's plenty of cornucopia knicker flashing to be found in the above? In a similar fashion to pretty much every other tennis offering, Hard Hitter 2 offers you the chance to progress through a series of championships, racking up prizes along the way. And thankfully, the maker has heeded our criticisms of its last game and included the World Tour mode. There are even the obligatory training games to keep you amused for a few brief minutes, an absolute must if you want to avoid spending your first few games desperately scrambling around for a mere sniff of the ball.
2-1. He has no intention of losing.
But the keener tennis fans amongst you may notice that Hard Hitter 2 dispenses with real named players in favour of some other nondescript ones, though they're still decently animated, as you'd expect. And the Smart Player Creator option lets you manufacture your very own tennis prodigy to help while away the time.
3-all.
The beauty of the sublime Smash Court and Virtua Tennis titles lies in their ability to cater for both newcomers and veterans with a mix of simplicity and subtle intricacy. But Hard Hitter 2 never feels instinctive, and as a consequence, the game never really flows as much as
I'm your
you'd like.
coach, Bob Connor. Okay, a lovely little serve that.
Shots can either be soft, normal or strong, but you're left with the feeling that shot selection isn't something that can be done in the split second before racket meets ball. Digging yourself out of a tricky situation with last-minute spontaneity isn't a common occurrence either.
He finished off the killer tie
And as a
break
consequence,
and
it isn't nearly half as much fun as the PS2 champions Smash Court and Virtua Tennis. Discarded by the evil Abaddon as a child, Jen's boyfriend Lewis is mercilessly snatched back into the demon realms of oblivion. The whole nightmarish incident leaves Jen unconscious and she awakes in hospital.
Okay, Jennifer.
What the hell? My God.
It's been an awfully long time since we've had a truly decent adventure game on our beloved console. Feast your eyes then on Primal. As you've probably guessed by now, adventuring is a big part of it, and the game's environments are impressively huge.
dead! Dive into the water! You're supposed to be in the water before you transform! Quickly!
I'm such a dream. There are two sides to me. Sometimes
Take a stroll through the 4 distinctly contrasting realms that make up Oblivion, and Jen morphs into various stages of demon transformation, adding a new repertoire of attacks and gaining fresh abilities to tackle the scheming inhabitants who foul her pathway ahead. Scree is Jen's partner for the entire duration of the game too, and you're given the ability to switch between both characters at any time, so that the reoccurring emphasis on exploration and problem solving is most prominent. What makes this game superior to every other action adventure on PS2 is that it's much more than just a combat-laden journey with a few switches to pull along the way. Every single facet of this game is intriguingly unpredictable and expertly plotted, creating an environment that's been lavished with immense care and invention.
I'm going to drop a rope down for you. Climb on up.
Even the loading times between different areas are cleverly disguised with an animated warp portal that fools you into thinking you're still playing the game while the new section loads. Ever since we got our first look at Primal, we've been praying for it to live up to its immense potential. And apart from Lara's own PS2 outing, it's the one game that offers a flood of imagination and originality. Expertly crafted and magnificently realised, Primal is the kind of game you can lose yourself in for hours and feel nothing but utter satisfaction at the end of it all. It looks stunning, the combat is first class, what more is there to say except buy it now?
and I go away. And I go away.
Everybody's Golf was an undeniable classic on PS1, and we've been desperate for the PS2 update ever since our sleek black box first arrived.
I can see you're going to win today.
So imagine our displeasure to find visuals not far removed from its PS1 predecessor, with garish colours and minimal detailing. It's just too embarrassing to watch this game, let alone play
Right
it.
on the edge of the green.
This is your third shot.
The control method has been updated with the obligatory analog swing, but hooking or
what you
slicing your
wanted.
shot is completely ignored, and you can take all day with your backswing without ever affecting the quality of the attempt.
Your second shot.
And the chances of messing things up under pressure are pretty much zero, just as long as you've set the shot up well beforehand. A relatively simple task made more difficult by the cumbersome button combinations and long-winded process.
Oh, good shot!
However, the most frustrating feature of Mr. Golf is the putting action, the most crucial aspect of the sport, ruined by an oversensitive power selection method. The difference between putting the ball at 100% power and 10% is the slightest of touches, and tapping the analog
second
stick
shot.
just a fraction too hard will see your hard-earned par 3 reduced to an upsetting double bogey. It just shoots straight past the hole.
Victory does not come. It must be taken.
With numerous extras to play for, Mr. Golf will keep the part-time golfers amused. However, to our massive disappointment, the game isn't even on a par with its aging relative Everybody's Golf 2, let alone the beautifully crafted Tiger Woods with its revolutionary swing, generosity of
third
game
shot.
modes and immense single-player challenge.
Well done, a birdie.
What should have been a fun, straightforward round of golf is spoilt by childish content, seriously flawed visuals, and an infuriating putting system. The mark of Kree is deceptively pleasing. Look past the pastel colorings and the twittering bird sound effects, and you'll soon discover a combination of stealth and combat-heavy action that really offers some new imaginative ideas. You play Ryu, a fierce New Zealand-esque warrior who must slay the denizens of the dark world before they unleash great evil upon the land. Accompanying you in this lengthy adventure is Ryu's sacred bird, Kuzo, a familiar character who provides a strategic role throughout the entire quest. Kuzo scouts ahead to perches further along your path, providing a bird's-eye view of hidden danger through a first-person perspective. Kuzo can also retrieve items and distract opponents, making him an invaluable ally overall. With Kree's unique fighting system, you can slay enemies without even having to face them. Just use the right analog stick to sweep over your opponents and assign attack buttons to each of them. Then use that button to make your basic attack, combined with any unassigned buttons to achieve more interesting combos. Stringing these attacks together is effortlessly easy, and the handful of gorgeous finishing moves that can be pulled off adds serious enjoyment to the diverse, well-rounded combat system. There are 4 weapons to be collected throughout the game, starting with the broadsword and progressing through to the bow, battle axe and sacred tiaha, a spear from New Zealand. You'll need to choose which of these weapons best suits your situation as you progress, or opt for the open-handed, stealthy approach and avoid alerting the guards to your presence. Our only harsh criticism is that almost the entire game could potentially be played out through stealth kills, and the AI ranges from docile to completely murderous should the enemy become alerted to your presence. The Disney-esque look may throw some people too, but once you're hooked, this game offers more than you first expected, tremendously satisfying and delightfully unique. If you're looking for a game that's guaranteed to make you rip out your hair in sheer frustration, shout obscenities at the ones you love, and hurl your treasured black box at innocent passers-by, then Rayman provides all this and much, much more. Platform games are just the thing for generating spontaneous bursts of violence. But the simple fact of the matter is that you always come crawling back for just one more go. Just a quick replay of that last level. Just one more attempt at traversing that gargantuan lava pit to claim a few more yellow lums. Not surprising then that Ubisoft has unleashed its limbless wonder for another example of how to make platform games. This time, the story revolves around Rayman's battle to stop the evil Dark Lum from soiling the heart of the world, a task with more complications than necessary thanks to Rayman's faithful companion Globox, who requires a dose of plum juice to help dislodge the Dark Lum in chief, whom he accidentally swallowed. Gameplay remains faithful to Rayman's easily accessible style. There's the usual repertoire of moves to make use of as you progress through more colourful, expansive levels. And like just about every other Rayman adventure, it's all about traversing platforms and passing through railed subsections as you frantically attempt to collect every single item available. This time there are 5 new time-based power-ups to help Rayman along the way. The Vortex Fist, for instance, allows Rayman to fire miniature tornadoes that can lower certain platforms, and the Throttle Copter is a heavy-duty upgrade to Rayman's existing helicopter move. After the short-lived appeal of Rayman M, Ubisoft's highly energetic hero will need to pull something special out of the bag to shine through the current roster of decent platformers. It's certainly up to the classic Rayman standards, but will it be enough? The samurai have always held a position of high regard amongst sword-fighting fans everywhere, and now Sword of the Samurai offers perhaps the most comprehensive sword-fighting game to date. This is a story-driven game that allows you to create a character and train in a variety of fighting techniques as you strive to become the ultimate Bushido master. You begin with only the most basic skills, but as you progress through the game, you'll be receiving authentic instructions from expert dojo masters. Using the new skills they'll teach you, you'll soon be developing your own personal sword fighting style. There's a variety of opponents to face, including 30 famous historical sword masters, all bearing accurately modelled weapons and realistic sword techniques based on real Japanese sword schools. And there's a range of mission types to challenge you, such as assassinations, defending, rescuing, guarding and protecting, as well as the chance to fight in tournaments. Completing these tasks allows you to learn new sword fighting skills and amass a collection of over 100 authentic swords, each with their own individual statistics, and to be able to master all manner of strategies, starting with the basic direct attacks and parries, and soon evolving into fighting multiple opponents and learning useful new defense and attack stances. Everything the discerning Bushido master could want. Disappointment of both Bounty Hunter and Clone Wars, LucasArts has finally realised that being a Jedi isn't all it's cracked up to be, and has set about its biggest non-Star Wars project in quite some time, RTX Red Rock. Whirl your mind forward to the year 2130, just over a century into the future in fact. The citizens of Earth have finally colonized Mars, along with many other neighboring planets. But their lives are unfairly tampered with when aliens muscle in on the action, and that's where you come in. Assuming the guise of half man, half machine, Easy Wheeler, your task is to clean up the tarnished Martian colony by any means necessary. Easy's reliance on a vast array of weaponry has been replaced with a synthetic high-caliber appendage. This bionic arm-style attachment doubles as both weapon of mass destruction and super handy maintenance tool, and is fully upgradable with a number of interesting additions. Plus, Easy's left eye is particularly sensitive to varying visual wavelengths, thanks to a few cybernetic enhancements. These valuable assets, coupled with precise military training, allow Easy to eyeball potentially harmful situations from a distance before piling in with all arms blazing. There's even a host of robotic friends at your disposal to negotiate the more claustrophobic nooks and crannies. And there's a variety of vehicles, jetpacks and other futuristic gadgetry to play with too. On the surface of things, this appears to be your average third-person item collecting spree that we've warned you about countless times before, with the usual reliance on puzzles and switches that litter the game's 10 single-player levels. But there's still plenty of depth here for a potential quality product. Could this be the first must-have LucasArts game on PS2? We'll know soon enough. Following in the footsteps of the incredibly popular Guilty Gear X comes the shockingly titled Guilty Gear X2. Promising more high-speed 2D fighting action, this sequel is bound to be just as popular as its predecessor. And as you can see, the distinct and detailed visual style of the series remains true here, making full use of PS2's capabilities. This time around, we have some new faces joining the ranks of eccentric fighters, whilst most of the original crew return to the fray, albeit with some slight tweaks and new moves to keep the veterans challenged. Amongst the new characters appearing, we have Slayer, a stylishly dressed raconteur and original leader of Zato's assassination syndicate. Bridget, a yo-yo-toting kid with a teddy bear who is actually a boy who's been raised as a girl. Zappa, a bizarre Australian, possessed by an evil spirit and forced into a zombie-like state. And I Know, a scarlet rock chick, armed with a vicious guitar and a living hat, so they'll fit right in with the other weirdos. Is also now better than ever, expanding on the core elements of the previous games. There are an astounding 8 game modes to choose from, with plenty of variety as well, including a fast-paced arcade mode, dramatic 2-player duels, challenging survival battles, and the complete story mode, among others. The control system is similar to its previous incarnations, using the same 4 button combos as before, and now you can assign shortcuts to the shoulder buttons, allowing you quick access to your favourite combos. It's fast, it's furious, the characters are utterly bizarre, and Guilty Gear X2 looks well set to live up to its legacy. An impressive feat by any standard. The original Zone of Enders was mightily impressive, a decent enough fighting game based around robots with jaw-dropping visuals too. But this sequel somehow looks set to top it all. As you've probably noticed by now, there's much more happening on screen at any given moment, and there's more pleasing variety in the robot design department too. As before, you control a giant metal orbital frame, and it's the same stolen Japuti model from the last outing, except with considerably more moves and more special attacks, which, as you can see, is a timely upgrade considering the massive swarms of enemies that home in on your position. But fear not, this exclusive action may look insanely chaotic, but it's easier to control than you might first think. Target and fire is a simple combination of two buttons, and the camera flips automatically and rather smoothly to face your enemy. This is all very nice, given that you're fighting in space and can quite easily find yourself in an awkward position from time to time. But the player could really do with a bit more responsibility in the control department. With so many enemies attacking from all directions, surely the developer could have made it a little more complicated than this. The influence of Metal Gear Solid 2 has also done wonders for the environments, and it's necessary to reshape the landscape in order to progress. Rival mechs can be grabbed by the jugular and thrown into further attackers to cause some rather pleasing brute damage. If all games look this impressive, the world would be a far better place, but we're not quite convinced there's enough complexity in the gameplay to do it all justice. Still, it's Hideo Kojima, so let's not write it off just yet. Monsters rule. And if, like us, you take great pleasure in watching grown men in rather unconvincing rubber suits, then you'll recognize a great B-movie game crossover when you see one. War of the Monsters zips you up inside a giant radioactive beast of your own choosing, and much carnage follows as you slug it out with other rival monsters in a light-hearted, arcade-style beat-em-up. Most of your best-loved creatures are present here, from leaping lizards to gargantuan robots, and there's the odd ape thrown in to balance out the cross-section of species lining up to destroy humanity. Each monster has its own set of moves, and aside from the hand-to-hand combos and monster-specific specials, you can utilize the surrounding landscape to your advantage, grabbing vehicles, lampposts, anything in fact, for a spectacular no-holds-barred monster bout. No kidding folks, the fight at the end of this one is pretty spectacular. The one-on-one battles are particularly entertaining, and we spent most of our time lobbing vehicles, slamming rival monsters through buildings, and destroying neighbouring blocks with exploding gas tankers. Made all the more fun thanks to the Twisted Metal Black Game Engine, which fits the brief for vast amounts of carnage perfectly. There's a distinct lack of four-player action, and overall battle strategy seems to be a bit thin on the ground. But the great-looking environments and 50s retro presentation create a feel that comes together just right. Our verdict? Difficult one, this. It could go either way. The Clock Tower series has enjoyed its own niche following, but has never gained the full-on AAA success achieved by the likes of Resident Evil and Silent Hill. But with Capcom finally on board to bring the game to a more mainstream audience, this could turn out to be the finest moment of shock, fear and disgust you'll ever experience while clutching a joypad. Alyssa Hamilton, she's the heroine, is just your average damsel in distress, searching for her lost mother through a twisting plot that's laced with extraordinary encounters and deranged killers. And with no special skills to speak of and a severe lack of kick-ass weaponry to make the whole jaunt easier, Alyssa must either run or hide from her pursuers when things turn nasty. Once a killer has latched onto you, they engage in hot pursuit, and as the tension rises, so does your panic meter. Once it's full, you're officially thrown into a state of panic, and Alyssa becomes harder to control as a direct result, bumping into furniture and collapsing in a state of shock. Thankfully, there's nothing like a good old splash of holy water to put devils into flight, and luckily enough, Alyssa is equipped with a bottle. Throw a little of this onto your attacker and they'll suffer vast amounts of pain, giving you the chance to make your escape and reduce the panic meter back to its original state. There's also hotspots to activate, triggering action-packed cutscenes that aid your escape. Although Clock Tower 3 is a great addition to Capcom's awesome lineup of disturbing horror fests, there's nothing really groundbreaking here, and this latest incarnation comes up short in both the graphical department and in overall gameplay time. It only takes 5 or 6 hours to beat. Fans of the original series can smile at the vague Burroughs family tie-in, and with reports that certain scenes were just too shocking to include in the US version, a few tweaks and adjustments just might have improved things when it finally gets a release over here. Unlike the over-stage-managed world of professional wrestling, Pride FC is the real deal. The kicks are real and the punches really hurt too. And THQ has knocked out a fighting game that captures all the blood and sweat from this multi-million-dollar grossing sport. To help realise this controversial championship punch-up, THQ brought in the team responsible for the Xbox effort that was WWE Raw, and it's very realistic, providing a real sense of the goings-on. As the fights kick off and the damage is taken, the fighter's health bar steadily decreases until it reaches empty, at which point he's unsurprisingly knocked out. Hardly a new twist on established themes, but at the same time a secondary bar tracks the fighter's stamina as he moves round the ring, characterising your resistance to holds and grapples. While this energy system takes some getting used to, the button setup has been thoughtfully borrowed from Tekken, with separate keys for left and right punches and kicks. As you'd expect, simple attacks can be chained together into various gut-busting combos, and fighters that specialise in the livelier fighting styles can easily dominate the proceedings with a few well-stringed attacks. By holding together certain button combinations, you'll perform a grapple maneuver, and it's here that Pride FC switches into SmackDown mode, with various holds activated by yet further joypad and button combinations. Of course, everything in the game is reversible, and much of the fighting becomes a subtle exercise in strike and counter-strike, especially when the combatants hit the mat and begin continually switching positions in an effort to be on top. As violent as it looks, Pride FC isn't the most balanced of fighting games, and we're not sure if the Pride Championships have a large enough fan base for this to really take off. But with all the realism and the lifelike outlook THQ has worked into this genre, a brand new following of fight fans might just be around the corner. For those of you in desperate need of a stealthy slash, relief is fast approaching. Tenchu is the most recognisable name in the ninja assassination business, with a string of highly entertaining PS1 titles. But whether this third outing can make a similar impact on PS2 remains to be seen. The development team at K2 really have set out to correct many of the problems that plagued the previous installments. There are more stealth attacks this time, basic fighting moves have also been upped, and there are some unusual combo efforts to pull off as well. Indeed, the range of updates is vast and includes everything from the smallest refinements of the camera system to a vastly overhauled control system. And to keep the original fanbase sweet, Tenchu's original hero Rikimaru makes a miraculous comeback after being seemingly killed off at the end of the original Tenchu adventure. As before, each mission starts with the opportunity to plunder your stockpile of items, ranging from the usual cachet of traditional ninja attachments to more specialised items like sticky bombs and fireworks. Completing each of the 9 expansive levels with a certain degree of ninja prowess earns you further abilities, but the trusty grappling hook is still your most treasured form of escape. But you won't always have to rely on your gadgets to avoid enemies or set up an ambush, as both Rikimaru and AMA have special magic skills which helps matters immensely. Mission objectives are pleasingly varied also. But the biggest change introduced here is the addition of a 2-player split-screen cooperative mode. Performing dual stealth attacks on unsuspecting guards totally transforms the whole game. And with enhanced AI and 3 possible placement positions per enemy, you'll need all the help you can muster to view the multiple endings. It's about time Tenju returned to offer some new crouching ninja antics. But does it have that extra bit of magic to make it an essential purchase? Who knows? Ask us next month.
You hurt me. Shut him down.
After more than 300 comic books, an animated series and a blockbuster film with a sequel due in May, the X-Men have made quite a name for themselves, with Wolverine still remaining one of the most popular characters from the series. And so X-Men Wolverine's Revenge is your chance to step into this hero's shoes, explore his enigmatic past, and carve up a host of bad guys along the way. There's voice talent from Mark Hamill and Patrick Stewart, along with an exclusive original storyline from Larry Hama. When Wolverine discovers a viral time bomb within his system, it becomes a race against time to save his life. With only 24 hours to live, Wolverine returns to the clandestine Department H facility deep in the Canadian wilderness to uncover the terrible secrets behind the Weapon X laboratory and the experiments that turned the mutant hero into a savage killing machine. To progress through the various levels, you need to become adept at using stealth, as well as learning how to wield Wolverine's awesome mutant powers. Hack and slash foes using his trademark adamantium claws, track and avoid enemies using animal-like super senses, and endure hardships with the advantage of unbreakable bones, thanks to his adamantium-bonded skeleton and enhanced mutant healing rate. Opposing you are many of the X-Men's enemies, including Juggernaut, Wendigo, Magneto, and Sabretooth, as well as endless supplies of expendable henchmen. On the plus side, you do get support from fellow X-Men like Professor X, the Beast, and Colossus.
Juggernaut. Cyborg or not, that was just plain rude. Who died and made you miss matters? Better get scared, short stuff. You know you're no match for me.
Staying true to Wolverine's character and fitting neatly into the X-Men mythos, Wolverine's Revenge promises to be everything his fans have been waiting for.
Terminate Weapon X!
It's been almost 3 years since the last original installment of Resident Evil on PlayStation. But now our love affair with decaying corpses, deserted cities, and blood-spattered bathrooms is about to be renewed. The upcoming release of Resident Evil Online brings a whole new aspect to the survival horror genre: 4-player online teamwork. Set in Raccoon City during the zombie invasion of Resident Evil 2, you can play one of 8 ordinary citizens, all of whom are struggling to cope with the chaos and destruction going on around them. These bold heroes and heroines include such hardened souls as a police officer, doctor, security guard and reporter, along with less qualified survival candidates in the form of a railway worker, waitress, plumber and a mysterious Japanese woman.
Did you find anything?
Nothing.
Each of these characters has their own unique qualities, and you'll need to work together to keep all of your party alive. And should you fail, then you can expect your fallen comrade to return in a less healthy form to wreak terrible vengeance upon you.
Are you feeling all right?
Yeah. There are also a large number of other characters to interact with, some of whom will be helpful, some simply a nuisance, and others are just out to cause trouble.
Help me, please!
Lucinda is live on the scene in our helicopter. We take you there now. Lucinda?
It's up to your team to decide whom you can trust and whom needs a kiss from a 12 gauge. It all sounds very interesting, especially after an absence of such a long time. So watch out for more in the coming months as we try to determine just what's going on in Raccoon City. Another year, another Final Fantasy, but much has happened since Final Fantasy X landed in UK stores way back in May last year. For starters, a remixed version which included a completely new side story hit Japan, and a similar US version appeared called Final Fantasy X International Edition. Then came Final Fantasy XI, again just in Japan, and surprisingly enough, you could play it online. And now here's a sneak preview of Final Fantasy X2. Final Fantasy X2 takes place 2 years after Final Fantasy X, and could well turn out to be the most radical departure in the history of the series. Sin has finally been vanquished, and Spyra is a substantially different world as a result. Machina and other such technologies are no longer forbidden, and the now ex-summoning Yuna is left to her own devices, brandishing twin pistols instead of her summoning powers, which suggests a more gung-ho approach to the action. New platforming elements have been thrown in too, along with spheres, which contain visual and aural recordings of history, and sphere hunters who collect these sought-after items in their quest to find out the truth behind Spyra. Final Fantasy X2 gears up for a March 2003 release, in Japan of course. Unfortunately, Europe, 18 months behind the rest of the world as usual, must wait a bit longer. As always, we'll be there first when it finally arrives.
What are you doing here?
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's okay, it's okay. He's going in for me tonight.
And we do it like this!
The big attraction behind EA's hip-hop themed brawler is the established roster of chunky, gold-chained men currently signed to the legendary Def Jam Records label. The official lineup includes all your favorite acts: DMX, Ludacris, Method Man, Redman and Ghostface Killer. Plus a collection of original game characters to make a grand total of 47 playable thugs. 3 modes of play include battle and survival, with story mode providing the main single-player focus.
Road, honey. This one's taken. But your corny ass?
Nah, I think he's ready for a real one.
Come on, baby. Tell the skank what's what. You're about to get your face broken. That's what's what. Bring it on, bitch.
Here, your foul-mouthed rapper must fight it out through a ladder-type progress system, with breaks in between matches revealing more of the game's storyline. Having been chased out of town by the gang overlord, D-Mob, you're now back, replacing an injured friend in the tournament and determined to bring down D-Mob, win the tournament and claim back your old Beat Angel. You can trade in your tired lyricist as you progress too, with the ultimate aim of winning over the delectable Christina Milian in a series of sideshow catfights where you can even choose to fight as one of the ladies. There's an impressive 1,500 attacks to master, taking in styles from the world of karate, kung fu, kickboxing, and good old-fashioned brawling. And should you make it to the top, then you can face off against the all-powerful D-Mob, your worst enemy, who, let's face it, deserves a damn good kicking when you look at the way he postures about the place.
I'll shut down cops, still a badges, offer operation, kill the rabbit.
Additionally, other characters will join in every few matches for some tag team action, and the special moves are spectacular once you've mastered the control system.
If your third eye looked, then I called you out. Me belly walking out, for even walking out.
Def Jam thankfully features a multiplayer battle mode for up to 4 players too, so things are looking really promising for its April release.
So when I ride by, I'll brag on it. Hourglass fly with toe tags on it. I plan a bomb when you pick your bell up.
Suspect in Blue Chevelle speeding east on 4th Street.
Starsky and Hutch makes for fun cult TV reminiscence. They practically invented the buddy-buddy cop routine, made grandma's knitted cardigans fashionable, and it's thanks to their throaty Gran Torino that American muscle cars are remembered so fondly. You may have noticed that this looks somewhat similar to GTA Vice City, Driver and The Getaway. But the one major difference is that Starsky and Hutch has absolutely no pretensions of being anything other than a driving game. In fact, the entire game is designed to mimic the TV show, with individual missions referred to as episodes. Aside from apprehending a long list of criminals, you've also got to keep the viewers glued to TV screens by pulling off crazy stunts, nifty maneuvers and lengthy car chases. Starsky and Hutch remain permanently ensconced within their Gran Torino's leather bucket seats at all times, and while Starsky steers his Scarlet muscle machine, Hutch takes pot shots at any lags loitering in downtown Bay City. An intelligent crosshair appears above anything that's up to no good, so it's just a simple matter of aiming in the general direction and pulling the trigger. And much to our relief, the car handles exactly the opposite of how you would expect a real Ford Gran Torino to feel, displaying the ultra-responsiveness that American muscle cars are clearly famous for. Steering is an absolute cinch, and pulling off some delightful power slides at every junction heightens the pure arcade experience of it all.
Get off.
The entire city has been designed with gleeful amusement in mind. If there's a gleaming shopfront positioned handily on the sharp bend, there's a good chance you can plow through it, sending shards of glass flying in all directions.
You're driving, Starsky. Far out!
If they can inject enough diversity into the missions and get the city teeming with people and cars, Starsky and Hutch could provide quality entertainment. And from what we've seen so far, it looks like they're heading in the right direction.
He has the skills of a dangerous man.
I need to know what went wrong. I think he snapped.
But he has no memory.
We don't take care of this, we will both burn. He's trained, conditioned, built to disappear. I'll give you $10,000 to drive me to Paris.
I get the money, and I don't get hurt.
That's the deal.
Now, the government's top agent.
I can't remember anything that happened before 2 weeks ago.
Visa?
Yes.
Is about to become their #1 target.
What's in Paris?
It's a name, Jason Bourne. Let's see if the Paris police can find him for us.
And the only way he can survive.
Talk a lot.
Is to find out who he is.
I guess you're not home. Monsieur Bond.
I don't recognize any of this.
Before they find out.
Get the address. I think I got it.
Enhance.
Where he is.
Get everybody out. I want them all activated. Do it now!
What is it? Something wrong?
We can't stay here. It's not safe.
He's out of control. It's very clear what needs to happen.
Based on the international bestseller.
I don't want to know who I am anymore.
From Universal Pictures.
You got to get as far away from me as you can.
What are you gonna do?
Danger.
I have everything they put inside me.
Is
Everything I ever learned. All of it.
born.
I'm going to make it stop.
The Bourne Identity.
Doesn't it ever wake you in the middle of the night? The feeling that someday they will pass that foolish law and come for you and your children. Take you all away. It does indeed. I feel a great swell of pity for the poor soul who comes to that school looking for trouble. What's happened to you?
Don't you remember?
You should have killed me when you had the chance!
You're gonna kill him, Bobby!
No!
Welcome, Professor.
You haven't told him about his past.
Who is he?
I can't remember.
Sometimes anger can help you survive.
The war has begun. Eric, what have you done?
rooftops and alleyways at night, searching for justice. Blind justice. A guardian devil. I was 12 years old. I had lost my sight, but I got something back in return. My remaining 4 senses functioned with superhuman sharpness. I could hear a whisper a block away, but the most amazing of all was a kind of radar sense. Soon the world will know the truth.
There is no proof that Daredevil even exists.
That one man can make a difference.
What do you want? Justice. This spring.
Matt Murdock.
Nice to meet you.
I didn't get your name.
I didn't give it.
Sure you don't want to tell me your name?
My name's Electrum. I have to go. My bodyguard is here.
Your bodyguard?
In a city ruled by fear.
Kingpin just doesn't kill you. He kills your whole family.
One man will face his greatest challenge.
Give me bullseye.
The devil is mine.
Was that really necessary?
Necessary? No, it was fun. And a new hero will be born.
Time to give the devil his due.
How do you kill a man without fear?
By putting the fear in him. Costume.
If you had a car, you could pick me up in Colorado. We could have an adventure. You know, the 2 of us.
You'd want that?
How far would you go for the girl you've always wanted?
Sexy choice. Vintage 1971.
How much would you do for a brother in need?
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. I'll drop him off in Denver. I'll see you tomorrow.
Breaker one down. This is like a prehistoric internet or something. Can you do a woman's voice?
How much fun could you have?
Hey there, this is Candy Cane. Who's this?
Rusty Nail.
If I were there, Rusty Nail, I'd make you feel good. Just turn me on.
When the joke...
I'll be at the Lone Star Motel.
What room?
Room 17. I can't wait.
This is awesome!
...is now on you.
Who the hell is it?
We had a little incident here last night. The victim was staying in room 17.
What happened to him?
Ripped his jaw clean off.
This fall...
So you guys ready for an adventure or what?
Everything you say...
Candy cane.
We saw what you did to that guy. You pathetic, lonely freak show.
...will come back to haunt you.
You really should get that fixed.
Get what fixed?
That tail light.
Everything you see is going to terrify you. And everything you hear...
Who's the pretty girl?
He's watching us!
...is going to drive you...
Go, go!
...over the edge.
Don't leave him alone! Please! We'll do whatever you want!
I want you two to head inside naked. So how does it feel to be the freak in the room?
Hey, we're sorry!
Why are you doing it?
It's just for fun. Just for a laugh.
You don't feel like getting together in a motel later. Room 17. Do not be 1 minute late.
Don't open the door! Don't open the door!
So you still good, or need me to drive?
If you have a problem,
We're just gonna do a little word association. Say the first thing that comes to mind. Milk.
if you need help,
I came here to study the great American art of muff diving.
if you want to get wild,
I want to take it to the car wash and get it waxed. I want to wax it. Air dry that shit, yeah.
meet the guy
Who, me? Van Wilder.
Wilder? Van Wilder.
GLAD to meet you.
who puts the cool back into school.
X equals 6.
This summer,
I'm doing a human interest piece on you.
I'd love for your piece to be on me.
if you want to get wild, get wilder.
Everybody wants to have a party thrown by Van Wilder, the party liaison.
Give me some sugar.
Van Wilder, party liaison.
again.
$239,000 miles from Earth, beyond the reach of the law, lies a forbidden world where fantasy is for sale
Welcome to Club Pluto.
and crime
Every lowlife in town is looking to wacky.
is king.
Hey, everybody.
Pluto?
Pluto Nash?
The Pluto Nash? It is a pleasure to meet me.
You're absolutely right.
From the far side of adventure comes a hero for the future.
Oh, yes.
Hey!
Look at that.
Eddie Murphy is Pluto Nash.
I met the perfect woman and then I had a clone. This is Gina and Philomena.
A pleasure to meet you. Which one's which?
Who cares?
Damn.
New York City. 12 million people. 22 million phones. A billion connections a day.
I believe in you, man. Big Q, be reasonable.
I'm a gangster. I don't gotta be reasonable.
Cutting out. Hello, Big Q.
You keep talking about.
Stu Shepard thought he had the game wired.
How's business? Tickets. 4 for Britney Spears, right?
Look, you owe me, Stu.
It's gotta be the night of the 18th, and I will deliver you a truckload of celebrities.
But today, someone's got his number.
Yeah.
Don't even think about leaving that booth.
Wrong number, pal.
I'm aiming at you right now. Can you feel it, Stu?
Did you call me Stu? Who is this?
Someone who enjoys watching you. I have a .30 caliber bolt action 700 with a Hensoldt tactical scope.
You mean like a rifle?
At this range, the exit wound ought to be about the size of a small tangerine.
You're bluffing.
There's only one way to find out.
Oh my God, you shot him.
Look at all of the people, Stu.
He's the shooter.
I've seen him.
It wasn't me.
I love the girls and the money.
What did I do to deserve this? How? Why me?
If you have to ask, then you're not ready to know yet.
Put down the gun and raise your hands. Where's the gun? You see a gun? I want to see you talk to where you went. And I didn't shoot anybody. I just want to hear your side of it. That's
If you tell him, I will kill you.
I ain't got no side of it.
You're in this position because you're not telling the truth.
I'm in this position because you've got a gun.
Come on, Stu. Don't you get the game yet? Confess your sins, Stuart.
Hang up.
Stu hasn't been totally honest with you. His wife looks very angry.
He said he wasn't married.
Leave her out of this.
I have your wife here with me.
This is exciting. You get to choose between them. Kelly, Pam, bam, bam.
Get her out of here, all right?
They're in position.
I give the orders here.
Look, I'm sure we can work this out.
It's do or die time.
Hold your fire!
3.
If you'd like to make a call, please hang up and try again.
What's up, ladies? Hey. My swimming buddy.
Ben Cronin thought he had it all.
Scouts are coming next week.
It might actually happen, huh?
Yeah. Can you picture it?
Good friends.
I just remember why we broke up, John.
You couldn't handle me in bed, or?
And a bright future.
So, Madison Bell.
Dude, she is so smoking hot.
You know I'm planning on hearing that little southern accent when she moans my name.
I can't get this stupid thing open. Do you think you could?
Take a look, yeah.
What's the letter for, Ben Cronin?
The letter is for swimming.
Are you good?
I'm okay, yeah.
But he never imagined
What are you doing here?
one moment
Okay, I want you to.
could change everything.
Hello?
Oh, honey, hi. Surprise. It's so great to finally meet your mother.
Finally, you just met me.
You want to pretend like it never happened?
I have a girlfriend.
Don't worry about me. I got somebody waiting for me in New York.
You have 81 new emails. Picture received.
Gotcha.
Hey.
Hey. This is my boyfriend, Ben Cronin. Amy just can't stop talking about her perfect boyfriend, even when I beg her to stop.
I know what you're doing. No emails, no visits, nothing. I'm with Amy.
Ben, get back here!
You tested positive steroids. I don't take steroids. Clean out your locker. You're off the team. She did it. I know she did. You're crazy, man. You're losing.
Don't worry about me. I got somebody waiting for me in New York.
She killed him.
When I was with him, I pretended he was you.
Paramedics just brought Amy in.
Is she okay?
Amy, where is she? She's not good enough for you.
Swim fan.
I'm starting to think you don't appreciate me.
You know the #1 cause of most stalkings? Forgetfulness. People forgetting to close their curtains.
Now I suddenly feel all on display.
Hate this house.
Take cover!
Creepy ass house.
Hello, can anybody hear me?
Please.
You guys don't have to worry. You're much more likely to be killed by somebody you know.
There's someone upstairs.
What's your problem? You always pick people. You always pick
First, no heat, then no food. You don't think this could be part of their game?
Is someone out there?
You sons of bitches.
We are the mighty Yaya priestesses. Our blood flows through each other, as it has done for all eternity. Loyal forever. We raise our voices in the words of Mumbo Gumbo.
Yaya!
Yaya!
Yaya! Here's some
Mama. Long may she rave.
She'd skin us alive if she knew we were here.
Mothers.
I tried to be the best mother I could.
How'd that go?
Not so hot.
Daughters.
I do not understand having those underwear up your ass crack. They don't cover a GD thing.
Family. A timeless friendship.
Look who it is. All my old friends.
When it comes to those you love, it's all about communication.
Hello? Is she there?
Mama?
Your phone etiquette sucks.
We're like two angels up in the sky, smiling down on all our friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am so tired of her tantrums.
Is a game developer's dream come true. All those gadgets, the guns, the cars, the one-liners, the girls. And this particular Bond is freed from all the constraints of a specific movie, which opens up a wider range of scenarios based on a whole heritage of classic Bond moments.
Enjoy the ride.
The story is all new, of course. The cunning deviant Malpay has devised his own plans for taking over the world, building himself an invincible army of evil clones to do his dirty work. Freedom to approach each of the disappointingly short levels in your own way is rather limiting. The puzzles aren't really that puzzling, and overall, it's just a case of blasting your way through from A to B. But from the very first hostage job until your stealthy embassy assault, many missions later, Bond's use of the superb Quake 3 engine still delivers a highly polished shooter, where the pace never loosens its grip. A variety of gadgets also help to authenticate hardcore bondage, and Q's replacement R will usually explain how your new toys work moments before you'll need them. The lock-cutting laser and Q official footy game of 2002. And as ever with FIFA titles, it's a showcase for massive graphical overindulgence. There's an astounding level of detail on each of the player models, making each one instantly recognisable, and some tremendous replays to show it all off. The game is all about atmosphere, and it has that in abundance. What's more, there's a decent game here as well. Every one of the Japanese and Korean stadiums has been faithfully recreated, and all 42 squads are as accurate as can be, with 40 players to choose from just in case a late injury to a star player results in an unexpected replacement. The action is silky smooth, unlike FIFA's last outing, and the new passing system remains, although the flaws have now been ironed out, and all manner of extravagant plays are now feasible propositions. The biggest game innovation is the new Stars feature. These heroes of the field possess amazing levels of ball control, with the idea being get the ball to these characters and let them open up the opposition's defence. In practice though, you'll come to rely on these stars too much, making the whole thing very much a one-man team. While 2002 FIFA World Cup may not be quite as sublimely realistic as anything in the Pro Evolution Soccer series, it's certainly still worth shelling out for at this vastly reduced price. And you just can't beat that spectacular atmosphere. For a while, we just couldn't get enough of its ball-blazing beauty, and it quickly installed itself as the most played game in the PSW offices. Inferior footy games came and went before it was finally ousted from our affections by its very own sequel.
He scans the field as he passes the ball. Using that space, he squares it.
Pro Evolution Soccer 2 is obviously the best footy game money can buy right now. But if you're happy settling for second best at half the price, then don't be afraid to shell out for the slightly older original. The geniuses behind the series have a habit of tinkering with things that worked too well in previous versions, and they continue this trend with the transformation to Pro Evolution 2.
But there's no offside. He sends it into the middle. He shoots. He scored!
Crosses and through balls aren't nearly as effective as we'd like, and defending can be a bit hit and miss. All of these are things that worked beautifully in Pro Evolution Soccer. That's not to say it's the better game.
Today is a top-notch exhibition of football. He takes the shot from there.
It's very difficult to recommend Pro Evolution Soccer to anyone who already owns the sequel, and the player's lack of manoeuvrability can prove infuriating to those of us who've now grown used to the fleet-footed, dribbling geniuses in Pro Evolution 2. The original plays a much more measured game, where you spend much of your time with your back to the goal looking for someone to release the ball to. It's still a work of genius, and at this price, a must-buy for any footy fan not yet versed in the wonderful ways of Pro Evolution Soccer. Whilst it may be a hit RPG on the PC, Baldur's Gate on PS2 arrived in the form of an action-adventure game, taking up the hack-and-slash style of the PC's Diablo games. You have 3 characters to choose from, all of whom can fight and throw magic to varying levels. There's the elven sorceress, who excels in the magical arts, along with the amazingly destructive dwarf and the slightly more debonair ranger. The action starts as you set out to complete a number of quests. From this point on, you're faced with numerous hordes of antisocial monsters, all of which use a variety of tactics to throw you off your game. Mop up the swarming opposition and their more challenging bosses, and you can then loot through their corpses and the various pieces of furniture that litter the halls. You also get experience as you head onwards. When the green bar is filled, you level up. This gives you the chance to improve your various talents or even gain some fun new spells to make your life that little bit easier and a lot more colourful. The equipment you pinch on your regular outings can be sold off at the local store to raise funds for some nice new monster splatting apparatus.
Never will you see such fine steel as you will in this shop.
But you'll also find that some of it's worth keeping. When you equip a new piece of armor or weaponry to your arsenal, they'll immediately become visible on your character, so you'll have to keep upgrading to stay in touch with the current fashions, if nothing else. The two-player cooperative mode is all good fun, but movement of each player is limited to the edges of the screen, which is a bit of a disadvantage when the viewing area is so small to begin with. The graphics are gorgeous, as you can see, with some really satisfying spell effects and monsters, and it's all super smooth no matter how many of them pile in at once. The water and fire effects are especially impressive. The only real flaw that can be picked here is the inherent repetitiveness of wasting everything in sight, looting the corpses and heading back to the shops. If a hack and slash is your thing, you surely won't be disappointed here. Otherwise, you might find things getting just a little tedious before too long. At the time, Burnout blew us away and easily stole the crown of best arcade racer on the planet. Drive dangerously and race head-on collision to secure a win. Of course, the more risks you take, the greater the rewards will be as you blaze through 14 European and US styled courses.
2, 1, go!
Unlocks the special matchups under the face-off mode. Here, new cars can be acquired in a head-to-head burnout. You don't get to race through any new tracks, mind, but there's something about taking on just one AI racer instead of 4 that feels a bit different. Crashes are still endlessly amusing and genuinely shocking when you're totally focused on regaining that first place. It's wickedly fast and looks fantastic, but the single-player game quickly slides into a feeling of monotony that fails to encourage long-term play. That joypad and get a friend to join you in the PS2's best multiplayer racing experience. A sequel showed up, and Burnout 2 corrected just about everything that wasn't great about Burnout. If you haven't got either, Burnout is a steal at 20 quid, but we strongly advise strumping up the extra notes for Burnout 2. It's astonishingly brilliant. Konami's latest fighting masterpiece, K1 World Grand Prix 2002, is based on a growing combat sport that has taken Japan by storm. K1 brings together the toughest practitioners of karate, kickboxing, taekwondo and kung fu to create the world's most challenging fighting competition. The fighting styles represented in the game have been designed to be as realistic as possible, making for more serious and disciplined bouts than you might see in other fighting titles. You won't get any flashy, pseudo-magical or overly choreographed performances here, but anyone who practices these fighting sports will easily recognize the moves. Over 20 real-life fighters are included in the lineup, and each of them has performed their own motion capture in order to deliver the most realistic and accurate signature moves and celebrations possible. You also get a wealth of game modes, including the eponymous Grand Prix, along with Champions Revolution, Exhibition, Trial, Revival, and plenty of others. So there's almost certainly something here to suit every mood. Two months ago, we introduced you to Rygar, the legendary adventure, and since then, this fabled warrior has hit the shelves in Japan. So now you have the chance to import this classic remake months before its Western release. Originally only available for the NES, this great game follows the adventures of the heroic Rygar as he plunges through a complete mishmash of Greco-Roman mythology and history. The Princess Harmonia is stolen away when evil titans, led by the sinister Cronus, attack the island of Argos. Rygar is plunged into the underworld, armed only with the Hades disc armor, and tasked with collecting the remaining 2 disc armors, destroying Cronus and saving the princess, all before lunch. There are 8 impressive worlds to conquer, with only your trusty weapon of spinny death for company. But to begin with, you're armed only with the most basic of moves, and as you progress, you'll gain various new actions and combos, adding mysterious stones to your armor and gaining fancy new powers as you go. find both the heaven and sea disc armors before you can face Cronus himself. These great devices bring even more variety to your repertoire, so that nothing will stand in your way. With monster splattering good fun, Rygar continues to evolve as you gain more combos and powers, guaranteeing that you'll never tire of wading through the bad guys, finding more and more impressive ways to dispose of them, and outwitting the exotic boss beasties. You can import it now and get stuck right in, or just wait for it to arrive the long way round. It really depends on how patient you are and whether you understand Japanese.
This summer, get ready for something special.
It's Futurama the game!
Take control of Fry.
Say again?
What exactly do you know how to do?
Bender. And Leela.
Everyone just remain calm.
On an action-packed romp across the galaxy.
I don't get it.
Face terrifying foes.
I am Destructor!
Make new friends.
Greeting, you aliens from other planet? Yeah, whatever.
And meet up with old ones.
So what should I do now, guys?
In a fantastic video game that takes you from the Planet Express HQ...
Hey, I'm busy here.
...to the depths of New York sewers. To the surface of alien planets. Abandoned mines. And mysterious temples. As you seek to battle the evil mom.
Oh, don't worry, dearie.
An adventure 1,000 years ahead of its time. Futurama, the game.
Ah, crap.
Out soon on PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox.
This is the happiest day of my life.
Are you custom made, custom paid, or you just custom fitted? PlayStation 2 up in the ride, and is that Lorenzo Kidded? Is that your wife, your girlfriend, or just your main? You take a pic while I'm rubbing the hips, touch the lips to the top of the then woo, and tell me.
I think it's long overdue. I think the collaboration with EA and Def Jam should have happened years ago. So, you know, we've been waiting for this, man. Definitely. It's a great idea. You know, it's already selling points. It's just about getting it on the streets and marketing it. You know what I mean? It's gonna sell by word of mouth, just like my albums do.
Got back, roll out, me and my homie, roll out, so drop that, we rollin' on 20, roll out, with the top back, roll out, so much money, roll out, you can't stop that, get out my business, my business.
Ah, I tried to tell you. That's right, y'all. In the flesh, M-E-F, Math with the F. Don't ever come up in my yard thinking you gonna bury a bone, son.
Yo, man, what you doing in Def Jam, man? Don't you know what part of town this is, man? People get mugged out here, man. Get beat up out here, man. You crazy?
This be my patented move right there, like in the hood. Hand. That's what I should say, too. Hand. When I connect the joint, hand.
Nobody gets out of the chicken wing. There's not a man alive today that has got out of that move. It's my brother's patented move. Pop, 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 pop. All the way down. Uh-oh, here it comes, the near, hit him with the near. Hit him up. Hey, yo, son, you the man. No, dog, you the man. Son, no, you the water. No, baby, you the sir, son, baby. I'm trying to tell you right now, you the sir. You my man. say, ready?
Hold on. PlayStation 2 up in the ride, and is that Lorenzo Kid it? Is that your wife, your girlfriend, or just your main? You take a pic while I'm rubbing the hips, touch the lips to the top of the then woo!
When creating richly developed characters in a game like Primal, the voice is just as important as the animation.
When it came to casting the actors for the voiceovers, we wanted to use actors that were really going to get into the parts and really have fun with the characters. They're the kind of people that are really going to bring that character to life.
Well, no.
The poor Undyne Adaro was attacking must have been dead for days.
Well, if he does that to him, just think what he'd be like with us.
With Jen, we needed someone that was going to be able to give us a real warmth to her character, but also be able to really get into the demon side of Jen and really let go and, you know, really sound quite fierce. And
You really did
beat the crap out of him?
I think the reason that they wanted me is because I played a character called Callisto on Xena, Princess Warrior. So I knew at that point when they liked that show that this was going to be based on a strong woman and there was going to be fighting involved.
Scree was really the toughest character because we wanted a voice which didn't sound like Scree looked, if you see what I mean. So it wasn't like a little guy's voice, or it wasn't a silly voice. It was a voice that had kind of nobility and kind of depth to it. And the only voice we could really think of was inspired by a character in Babylon 5 called Jakar. And this character was played by an actor called Andreas Katsoulas.
But I doubt we've seen the last of King Adaro.
So when they conceived of this whole thing in the character of Scree, in their minds, they really heard Jakar somehow in that role, or more precisely me, I guess. So
They've been dead for days. It's the Undyne.
Although both of the actors had done TV and film, this was their first video game experience.
It's different working on a video game than a film because you don't have to worry about the way you look. It's not my body, it's not my likeness. It's just my voice, and it's my interpretation of the character. Then I get to act with Andres, and that makes it brilliant. And so you are acting, you're not just speaking or reading lines.
I wouldn't want to do it without my fellow actor also working with me. I don't think I'd be able to do it as well without this ongoing relationship with Hudson, who's right there, and we really get into it together. So it's like doing a little mini play that no one will ever see.
Fight with great distinction.
Uh-huh.
There's nothing shown to us beforehand as to what the scene will be.
They gave me a breakdown on all the characters, on all the different worlds, and all the different beings in the different worlds.
So we're given that, and then it's just up to our imaginations to, you know, to go with it. And then everything that they draw and animate around that, we see later.
Now that they have a taste of what video games are all about, will this turn them into die-hard gamers?
I've never really come into this century yet, but this might motivate me in terms of my son and my daughter as well. I think they'll both be interested in going through this together, and I wouldn't be surprised if they want me to play along with them.
I bought a PlayStation 2, and I played for 24 hours within a week. My friends were like, you have to brush your teeth, you have to wash your hair, you have to take a shower, and I wouldn't. It's like a drug. I don't know how people play games and go to sleep and get up and exercise or go to work. It's not possible.
Each month, we've slowly exposed more of Dante's heavy-handed shooting, but finally, Capcom's most sought-after sequel is up for review. In case you didn't know, Devil May Cry 2 will be released as a 2-disc offering. Disc 1 is home to Dante, and here he is in action, with his own mission to save the world against an evil corporation and a more technological advanced batch of bad guys. So vast is Dante's new Gothic paradise that it demands a much greater use of his abilities, and there are some nifty new tricks for our hero. However, as much as we like these expanded new environs, we really miss the overall feeling of claustrophobia that the original Devil May Cry evoked. On screen, Dante is little more than the size of a postage stamp, creating an awkward distance between you and the fierce action unfolding before you. Switching seamlessly between sword and gun attacks is the way to unleash those boss-beating combos. And while the combat system is still as rapid as before, the art of stringing together combos can be somewhat elusive at times. Dante can leap from buildings, shooting at enemies as he descends, but try and follow up with some excellent sword work and your target is already out of reach, lost in all that extra new space. Dante's powers have grown considerably too, and Devil May Cry 2 demands much greater use of the Devil Trigger than before. Bosses are even bigger and weirder as well, needing a beating of biblical proportions to destroy them. Luckily for Dante, his powers of flight make him a force to be reckoned with, and this helps to highlight the massively detailed cities and corporate housings that make up the game's final stages. Capcom has once again created another classic old-school game for hardcore gamers, and so far we're impressed with what Disc 1 has to offer. On to the feisty Lucia then, tucked away in Disc 2.
Devil May Cry 2.
Like Dante, new girl Lucia has surprises up her sleeve too. She can activate the Devil Trigger and transforms into a pure white heavenly angel with all the style and grace of a professional circus act. Speed and agility are Lucia's main strengths, in contrast to Dante's heavy-handed shooting and blade work. Lucia's outing contains exclusive areas, as does Dante's, but for the most part, it's a case of retracing the same path from a different angle. And whilst both adventures offer vast amounts of replay value, the initial levels are horrendously dark, unpopulated and pointless to a certain degree, with nothing to do except collect red orbs and helplessly search for the exit. Every now and then the camera loses sight of its priorities too, obscuring your sense of direction and favouring the edgy cinematic angle while you suffer all manner of unseen freakish damage. Both characters now have an amulet with 3 sections, and filling the sections with hearts affects the use of the Devil Trigger. Gaining the aerial heart before activating the Devil Trigger causes each character to zoom skyward and take flight. further hearts allow increasing healing power as well as greater attack ability, and give each character a slightly different look depending on the heart used. All the shadowy nightmares and scissor-wielding shades of the original have been replaced with a new bizarre batch of demons, and once again it's the fear of the unknown that makes Devil May Cry 2 so thrilling. Both characters make this sequel one of the most promising games of 2003, providing a huge challenge across 2 discs, fueled with colossal boss sequences and more of those fantastically stylish attacks that make the whole thing effortlessly fluid. Once again, you must own this game. It's as simple as that.
Devil May Cry 2.
Handgun. Handgun. Action! Machine gun.
Bye.